So it's just new moon in Scorpio. Now, what is Scorpio energy all about? It's all about the underworld. It's all about demons. It's all about you facing your shadows and realizing you can't avoid what you've been suppressing for so many years. Because guess what? Light was created through darkness, meaning that we need both. But in this very moment, through the Scorpio energy, let's just say, the ego is literally at its breaking point, meaning that there's going to be a lot of ego deaths taking place. And during this process, a lot of people are going to get confused on who am I while you're learning to unlearn who you thought you once were. And that's what true enlightenment is all about. So on today's video, Awakened Ones, we're going to be discussing ego death and how there's no more time for lies. It's about time you show up and be truthful with yourself. Let's get it. What is up, you beautiful beings? I'm this new freaking energy. The Scorpio energy got me feeling in my goddess energy. It is just an honor and a blessing to be alive today and making it to this new moon that's been, let's just be honest. These past few weeks have been so liberating, but so tough. And that's what we're about to get into right now. But other than that, if you've been on this channel with me so far, thank you. If you're new to this channel, welcome. This is episode, what is it? Oh my God, look at that. Episode 9 already. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Brittany Fontanez, and what I do, I assist people in awakening their power so they can find their infinite love within. I speak about spirituality, self-development, esoteric content, all that good cosmic wisdom to simplify your spiritual journey. But if you like content just like this, then you might as well hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification button after you subscribe. And lastly, follow me on Instagram because I post daily for good shit just to uplift you so you can walk on your spiritual journey with more enlightenment and unconditional love for who you are. But this is episode 9, you guys. This one's a big one because it was Scorpio, new moon in Scorpio yesterday, which was the 14th of November. I do all my videos on a Sunday. But this energy has been really shaking up every individual in this collective. Because let's just face it, if you don't know the understanding of darkness and energy, well, let's just get into depth briefly. Darkness is really of the feminine energy, and it's really of the underworld. I say the underworld not to scare you. I say that in the fact because there is a concept of two components of light and darkness. They have their own internal perspective. And so they're completely different from one another, but they're both needed. But light is of masculine energy and dark is of feminine energy. Now, since we live in this patriarchal system, we believe that there's only light. And what is that masculine energy? And the masculine energy is always in the ego. Go figure. Now, if the masculine energy is of light, then how is the darkness ego? Well, the masculine energy is of the ego, but the masculine energy is so good at hiding the ego through the concept of light. And the ego, the real concept of it in the darker form is that it's the truth of who you are. Like, a lot of people want to demonize their ego, but in reality, it may seem like a beast, but the beast is needed. And you know, I have a master class that I'm in with one of my mentors, and she was explaining that today. She said, what are your beasts? You know, because we live in a patriarchal system where it's all about fear and sorrow. So she's like, what are your beasts that hold you back? What are your shadows? And our shadows are little things, you guys. They're like probably wanting to tell our family off and tell them that I can be successful and this is how it's done, or that you need more money, or that you feel like your relationship should be a certain way that you think it must be. You know, these are certain beasts that we have created anytime that nothing goes our way. But what if the beasts that we have created, which people call their inner demons, what if they're not here to try to hurt us or scare us? That's why we've been running. What if they're really just trying to share with us their perspective of what we might need to know that we don't know? And that's why it's very beautiful that the Scorpio energy is taking place, especially around this huge, massive awakening. It's because it's about time that we stop lying to ourselves. It's about time when we stop saying, oh, I'm in the light and there's nothing wrong. You know, a lot of people want to act abundant and all these certain things of success, but when shit hits the fan, they don't have those beliefs. So pretty much a lot of people have been wearing masks and telling themselves lies to the point that we live lives that we're not happy with. And that's why it's so beautiful that the Scorpio energy is taking place, because this goddess energy has been suppressed for so long, which means the nurturing, the love, the expression, the compassion, that's the feminine energy. That's what we have been suppressing for so long, since being in this patriarchal system that only taught us action, move, masculinity. And, you know, all of this is taking place because, again, we can't lie to ourselves anymore. We shouldn't feel ashamed for all these inner demons that we have that do help us. Because the ego, it's not trying to destroy us. If anything, what light is all about, it's all about being humble, being of love. But not everyone is humble and of love. Let's just be real. Sometimes we could be naive and we're in this light. So we need the ego sometimes because it tells us, yo, stand your ground. Know who you are, bro. That's needed sometimes. Sometimes you need to be a gangster or a bad bitch. And sometimes you just need to be humble to remember who the hell you are. Since most people don't know who they are. But don't demonize the ego. But this is where the ego death takes place. Because there is a 3D ego. And there is a 5D ego, which is the spiritual ego. If you haven't watched my last video I did last week about spiritual ego, I'm going to put a link up there. I highly suggest you go watch that before you get more deep into this, so you can really understand what the spiritual ego is. But there's a 3D ego, which is the masculine energy, which is all about more, more, more. Take, that beast, that hunger, that greed. And there is the spiritual ego, which is way, way worse than the 3D ego. And how is that? Is because the 5D ego is about, okay, I'm ascending and I'm awakening, and you're still in the 3D. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm here doing all this healing work, and that person is still over there believing in the government, believing that their vote counts. What? It's still judgment. It's still judgment. Don't get me wrong, everything that I'm sharing on my channel, it does teaches you how to understand the God within you, the power, the love that surges through your veins that's been given by this higher power that we can't see with our own eyes, but feel with our hearts. Yes, I do teach you that, but in a humble manner. And this is where a lot of people get distraught, is because we live in this patriarchal system that we were taught that we have to sacrifice, we have to fight, we have to suffer in order to see how much can we gain so we can be noticed. Do you know how much lies are behind that? Do you know how much masks that we put on to hide our true self so we could put on a persona to look good for the world, knowing that it's just false? It's just false evidence appearing real, bro. It's just like, yo, the ego is all about edging God out. That's really all it is. And the reason why we will edge God out is because we want more control and more power. And this is why we live in a system that is breaking, because it was on false terms. It wasn't here to help us thrive. It was run off of greed. And that's what the dark side of the ego is all about. And that's where this ego death is taking place, is because we can't lie to ourselves anymore. That's why Hollywood is being exposed. That's why a lot of these politicians are being put on the spot. That's why a lot of things are taking place on this earth, is because we can't keep lying to ourselves about what we do not see, knowing that we do fucking see it. You know, we can't lie to ourselves about how we feel. We can't lie about what we're unhappy about anymore. And this is why it's so beautiful that the Scorpio energy came in, because this feminine energy wants to come in and nurture us and help us remember desire, love, compassion. It wants us to realize that, you know, there's more to us in our life than just this materialism or self-absorption or just me. There's more to life than just us. And that's what this beautiful energy that's taking place wants to show us. And I want to get more in depth that a lot of people will be terrified about this ego death, because we have framed our identity around this persona in order to show ourselves off to society. And to the point we've forgotten ourselves. My mentor says amnesia. All of us got amnesia. We fucking forgot who we are. And we came back on earth to remember who we are. So the symptoms of ego death is you're going to feel like you want to go back home. And you won't know what home feels like. But you feel like there's a sense of home. You will feel a lot of aches in your body, because energy does get trapped. And if it's not resolved, of course, all that energy that is trapped within your body is going to start creating physical problems. So more symptoms is that you're going to feel a bit confused. Excuse the sun's going on now. You're going to feel a bit confused about, where do I need to go, who I am, and am I happy about life? When you're in these moments, just realize that you're on the right track. Don't be too hard on yourself, and don't feel anger about not having control about how you feel. You got to allow this to take place, especially if you're on the ascension journey or the spiritual journey, period. Because we're here to live Christ consciousness. We're here to become the highest potential of God. I mean, we already are, but we got to remember this. And this is why we come back here, to remember that. And it will take time to allow that kind of wisdom to come in, knowing that we've been fed so many fucking lies to forget about ourselves. So just understand, if you're going to take anything out this video, an ego death is really the death of a false appearance of yourself. And that's like in all my other videos, I say enlightenment is not about becoming something. The ego is about becoming something. Enlightenment is about unbecoming who you thought you were in order to be who you really are. You're not the ego. So ego death is going to happen a lot on the planet. Probably within this next 3 weeks. And not only that, probably a lot of physical deaths, because let's just be honest, the ego can't handle fear, can't handle limitations, it can't handle a lot of fucking things. So, you know, a lot of people are not going to understand how they're feeling, and, you know, some souls are going to leave this earth. Let's just be honest. But if you're going to take the most important thing out this video, is that allow that old self-image, that old identity of yourself to be let go. That's what all the ego death is all about. It's all about letting go of who you are not anymore, of what doesn't serve you, and allowing the true essence of divinity that lies within you to fully express itself. Because that's what it's all about. It's love now. No more fear. We've been living in fear for too long, and that's of the ego. That's of the beast. Like I said, don't shun your beast. Don't shun your ego. Love it. Work with it. Befriend it. But don't let it have control over you. Your mind can be your slave if you don't have control over it. But your mind can be a wonderful servant when you want to work with it. But other than that, if this video assisted you, if it resonated with you, if you felt like it really awakened something within you, share this video. You guys, this is all about waking the collective. This ain't about likes. This ain't about money. This ain't about needing more followers. This is about literally assisting a billion fucking lives so we could all awaken and ascend and literally just live the utopia on earth that we were supposed to live since the get-go of time. But other than that, awakened ones, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification button so you won't miss out when I do videos, which is 3 times out the week. And lastly, follow me on Instagram as I post some good shit every single day just to uplift you and inspire you on your spiritual journey. But other than that, awakened ones, I'll see you on the next one with bliss and love. I adore all of you. Namaste.